Of course I was conflated. You said that I conflated with those guys in the book, right? Oh, I conflated with Eric? All right, I could see that. No, Nate. That's not what conflated means. Let's take a step back.
Nate.
Well, hold on, Nate. Let me go get the whiteboard. I now imagine that Chuck has a whiteboard that he can pull out anytime he needs to explain something to Nate.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, the newbie, the rookie, the greenhorn, what are we saying now that we're in season 5, Leif?
I don't know how to tell you this, Steve, but in the novelization of the podcast, I made you gay.
Do I have game?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I'm cool with that. So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since it first aired, and I'm diving in for the first time. And together, we're your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
Bring your magnifying glasses, because each week we're dissecting every juicy detail of the show, one episode at a time. We'll connect the dots, uncover those sneaky little Easter eggs, and of course, serve up some piping hot behind-the-scenes tea. And expect some iconic fan moments, too, because what's a deep dive without a little drama?
And since we are all about inclusivity here on the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always a seat for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab a mimosa, a cup of coffee, or whatever Chuck was puffing on at the end of this episode, and let's go ahead and get started.
Before we get into the episode, anything unusual you want to share?
I mean, are you talking about the party?
Anything.
Or anything? Because, man, my life can get unusual sometimes. But no, yeah, I was telling you earlier that I went to this Canadian kitchen party last night, and where everybody either brings an instrument or they bring a food dish of some sort. I actually brought both. I brought a charcuterie tray and my ukulele, but it's just a ton of fun sitting around singing a bunch of like Canadian songs, along with a lot of Canadian like folk music that you never really think much of, which mostly sounds like Irish shanties. So yeah, it was fun. How about you?
Nothing too much. But we are here to talk about Gossip Girl Season 5, Episode 4, Memoirs of the Invisible Dan, original air date October 17th, 2011. And, of course, the title is based on the movie Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Yes.
Starring Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah.
Oh, right. I was thinking of something else. I don't think I've seen this movie, but I do now remember.
Directed by John Carpenter.
Daryl Hannah. Whatever happened to her?
Well, now that I'm seeing it, so she is one of those actresses who got blackballed for being difficult to work with.
Really?
Which we now know is code that didn't want to fuck you.
Wouldn't put out, right.
So seeing this makes me wonder, was Chevy Chase involved in with that whole thing?
I can't imagine he's not. Chevy Chase has such a reputation of being a huge fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And everything he's ever worked on. Mm-hmm. He got into a fist fight backstage with Bill Murray on Saturday Night Live. Kevin Smith sat down to talk to him about writing a Fletch 3, and Kevin Smith walked away from that interview like, that dude just is not funny. He's just he said that there was some kind of incident where he's like, I can make anything funny. Watch, I'll just make the number 4 funny. And the waiter asked for something. He goes, 4, and just got really obnoxious with the waiter. And Kevin Smith was like, okay, this dream doesn't need to come through to fruition.
This episode was written by Amy Harris. This is her first of 2 episodes on Gossip Girl. Her previous work includes 19 episodes of Sex and the City. She did 8 episodes of The Carrie Diaries, which was produced by Josh Schwartz. She did 1 episode of a show called Wicked City, which Ed Westwick was on. And she did 3 episodes of The Comeback, which was that show with Lisa Kudrow, her post-Friends, her first thing post-Friends.
Yeah, I recognize the name, but I can't picture it.
Didn't last long.
Yeah.
You don't call it a comeback, Lisa.
You've been here for years.
And this episode is directed by Tate Donovan is back. Jimmy Cooper from the OC.
Oh, right.
And this is his second episode. He previously did Gaslit.
Which was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did well again with this episode, I thought.
Yeah. I thought that this episode was really well done. Even the stuff that I hated about it, I thought was really well done, which is one of those Gossip Girl things that I really love, is that they can put me in a situation where I'm like, this is really making me angry, and it's perfect to every character in here.
And some of the guest stars, we had Sloane Crosley as herself. She is an author.
Oh, I was told there would be cake.
Yes.
Which the second watch through, I picked up on, wait, I do know that book. I've heard of it. I haven't read it, but
it's a collection of essays.
Yeah.
And then these 2 other guest stars, they're not really notable. I just noted them because they're funny the way they were listed. Serena's cute guy and Nate's hot guy. Brock Glore and Dan Puck, respectively.
I'm assuming we're going to see more of Serena's cute guy. You're not talking about the other coworker.
Not her coworker, the guy
that she bumps into and then is like, and he says, "I'm sorry," and she's like, "Yes, you are."
Yeah,
or something like that.
We don't see him.
We don't see him again.
No.
I actually thought that was about to be a setup for another Serena relationship.
Yeah, because that's how Serena works.
Right, exactly. Oh, hot guy on the show?
Yeah. Why don't you give us that Vulture recap?
All right, Vulture. Dan never intended to publish a novel that cruelly satirized his friends and family. Charlie was practically forced to assume the identity of an Upper East Side trust funder. Serena didn't know that her high school reputation as a champagne-swilling Lolita would haunt her into adulthood. The cast members of Gossip Girl may not make their own beds, but they nonetheless must lie in them. And in last night's episode, everyone was lying in bed alone. As always, while the majority of our favorite Upper East Siders' problems are unimaginable to the 99%, some things ring true.
Indeed.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting a little lazy, Vulture. This one,
I think they're getting bored. It shows they're getting bored of the show.
Yeah,
As we know, they're about to quit.
Right, because this one really is just like, yeah, this is what's going on.
So we roll into Act 1. We open the episode down one Gossip Girl monologue and up one red camera filter. Dan is applauded by a room of people he doesn't know. The scene shifts to Alessandra complimenting Dan on his ending. She keeps referring to Dylan Hunter as Dan's character, but Dan himself is insistent that the book is fiction. We also learn that no one else knows about the book yet, but Alessandra wants them at the party tonight.
First of all, the whole dream sequence in the beginning, I thought was, I don't know, I thought it was really good foreshadowing. I felt like it was a dream sequence and not the actual, because I don't think in the actual, when he's actually there later, he says, "Do I know any of these people?"
No, yeah.
But I think, just he kind of foresaw that anyway, because he knew that how his friends would react, which is why he didn't want to tell them here. But also, constantly referring to the narrator as Dan. You're a terrible agent.
Yeah.
Like, that's really bad.
She's like fangirling about it.
Yeah. And also definitely like not separating the artist from the art, which Dan has also very clearly said he wants to do. This is a work of fiction. I didn't even want my name on it. Stop calling me the main character.
Yeah. Blair is complaining about her boobs swelling from pregnancy. However, Louis is still on cloud 9 and can't wait to tell the families at the consulate tonight. Blair is excited but also nervous the royal family might think she is some kind of trashy reality star. Blair wants to tell one person about the pregnancy before the event, presumably Serena.
You're not a trashy reality star,
Yeah.
Blair, at this point, especially once this book comes out.
Yeah.
Also, Louis has the thing about like women with mood swings, and they didn't meet you beforehand, that I just felt was this really weird joke that didn't land. And I don't know if it was just badly written or badly acted or both, because, I mean, Louis has trouble carrying his scenes to begin with. He's never really carried a scene, I don't think.
Well, it could have been written to be a badly landing joke.
That's true. But also, Blair's lack of reaction and his lack of follow-up to it also just felt weird. It felt like we need him to say something.
Yeah, well, I think it was a badly landing joke.
Yeah.
That's how it was played out.
That's fair.
Serena continues to impress her boss at her new job. She showed great initiative by sending a script with a personalized note to Daniel Day-Lewis. It appears Serena's coworker Sam has taken notice of her preferential treatment already.
When he was on his way to go get them drinks. There's nothing worse than being made the assistant to your coworker.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Dwight Schrute and you are assistant to the general manager and you love that.
Nate and Diana are cuddling while browsing the photos they stole from everyone's phones last week. Diana is disappointed they didn't get Blair's phone, but Nate says his friends are off limits, to which Diana thinks is Queen. They still can't figure out who Ivy's phone belongs to. When glancing through the list of calls, Nate recognizes one of the numbers. Before he can reveal more, Nate gets a text and says he'll be back later.
Going through all of the photos you've stolen off of people and that you're going to use against them. Nate, get out. Get out of this.
At the penthouse, we see that it is in fact Ivy calling the phone from Lily's private landline. Lily says she should go the Serena route and just get a new phone.
Yeah.
They are interrupted by Rufus, who pops his iPod in the dock to play Panic's newly finished album. When Ivy asks about his career, Rufus says he loves music, but raising his kids was more important to him. The elevator dings before Rufus can hit play.
Rufus
Setting himself up for the fall.
Yeah, just such a great setup. Especially because, like, here he is working in music and, like, and doing the thing again and producing this album that's about to drop. Like, Jesus Christ, Rufus.
Once again, he's immediately successful when he gets back into the business.
Yeah. Yes. Every time. Every time he dips a toe in, people are clamoring for more.
We want more Rufus.
It's like Rage Against the Machine. You know, like how they, like, broke up forever ago, but every now and then they'll, like, do a little something and people go nuts.
The Beastie Boys before one of them died.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Like everybody just wants more from, we need more Lincoln Hawk.
I like the joke from Futurama where it's like 1,000 years later and they only have like one or two more albums. Blair and Chuck run into each other on the way to Lily's. Chuck says he knows what the summons are for, but he was sworn to secrecy. Monkey pulls on his leash, causing Chuck and Blair to accidentally pull into an embrace. The moment is, of course, captured by a fellow pedestrian that just happened to have her camera out.
Yeah, this was a cute scene. Their little catch-up, Chuck's little, you know, how are you? Very genuine and just...
Very platonic.
Very platonic and just treated each other like friends. And friends with a history. It was all there. I thought it was just really well shot and really well acted and really well written for this scene.
In the penthouse, Nate, Rufus, Charlie, Chuck, Blair, and Serena are waiting because of texts they receive from Dan. They all banter for a bit while waiting for Dan, and the topic switches to Nate's mysterious ivy. Charlie is saved by the bell and cuts the conversation off as Dan finally arrives. Dan lets them know that he is releasing a book with characters based on all of them and hands out copies of the book.
I loved this scene. I love Serena walking in and saying, I think this is how every murder mystery starts. And she's right, because it's all summoned by this text. I love the whole, like, announcement. And Charlie being like, is this about me? What? Why would you have anything to do with this? You've been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you get a text to be here? I don't think so.
No, you just live here.
You just happened to be here. And Rufus, I guess Rufus didn't get a text either.
So I assume this is coincidence. But did you notice that you get the mention of Milo and the pregnancy?
Uh-huh.
And then the camera immediately shifts to Chuck and Blair.
Oh, I didn't catch that. No.
Probably just coincidence, because Tate Donovan probably doesn't know where that story's going.
Right. But yeah, that was... Yeah, I thought that this and the next scene were both just really well done.
Yeah, so we get a quick Gossip Girl blast here. She says, looks like it's going to be a hot time in this old town tonight. Let's just hope Lonely Boy and his book don't go up in flames. We move into Act 2. We come back from the break with another camera filter and Nate having a steamy scene with another man. The scene shifts back to Lily reading and giggling about inside. It turns out Dan made Nate's character gay, but he's cool with it since he has game. Dan makes it clear that this book is a work of fiction and hopes that after reading the book, they all feel good enough about it and him that they will support him at his launch party tonight.
I loved that scene. And I just loved Nate's reaction of like, do I have game? All right, cool. I'm cool with it. Yeah, I don't care if you make my character gay. Like, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read it. There are several times throughout this thing where they talk about Nate, and we all know Nate is not going to read. Because when Dan's like, well, read it first so you see. He's not reading your book, Dan.
No. Blair pulls Serena aside to try to invite her to coffee to tell her about the pregnancy, but Serena is a busy bee and has no time. As Dan walks over, Blair assumes she is the villain of the book, and Serena assumes Dan still has her on a pedestal. When Serena leaves, Dan and Blair decide it would be best if Blair doesn't read the book, for very different reasons, of course. But Blair declines the invite as she says that her and Louie are telling their families about the baby tonight.
Yeah, it was a nice little scene with the two of them where she was really kind of blowing him off. This is no big deal. I don't want to hear about all the nasty things you have to say about me. I also loved that Serena just assumed
Yeah.
that Blair is the villain in this and that she is just going to be the center of this book.
Mm-hmm.
That Serena immediately thinks that this book is about her.
Oh, sweetie. Times have changed.
Oh, Sabrina.
Yeah. How Sabrina of her.
How Sabrina of her. My favorite part about this episode is that everything that Serena gets mad about is exactly who she is.
Nate and Charlie are on the couch together. Charlie hopes she isn't in the book, but quickly turns the conversation back to the mysterious Ivy. Charlie says she thinks she met Ivy and offers to help track her down.
This is dumb. I see why they're doing it, and it's fine. But it's also... I'm more irritated by how the rest of this arc of the story plays out. That I'm so over Diana Payne. Right? I'm just so over this. But sure, Ivy, you should help if you can. Go get your phone back. Go get your phone back. And after you do, just make sure you don't do anything really stupid the first time it rings.
Yeah, she needed to get the phone back and then just destroy it.
Mm-hmm. And do what Lily said. Go get a new phone and destroy that one.
Back at the office, Sam is reading an advanced copy of Inside. When Serena says she knows the author, he connects her to the character of Sabrina and immediately begins judging her. In the meantime, Serena returns a call from DDL's manager, whose client loved Serena's note and wants to set up a meeting with Jane.
I love that Serena's response was just, keep reading. Just keep reading.
And her response to getting a case of champagne delivered, oh, it was high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
A friend was playing a
that
prank.
Makes it even worse.
Did that really happen? Well, it was high school.
It'd be like, yeah, it's one thing if it's like work or something, but at high school.
Yeah. Oh, so it's felony distribution. Got it.
Blair returns home to an upset Louis, who has seen the picture of her bumping into Chuck on Gossip Girl. Blair rightfully insists that it was nothing and says she needs to take a nap. She tells him not to read the book, but leaves her copy sitting on the coffee table.
Louis, you cannot handle Blair Waldorf.
No.
You're not up for this relationship. This episode, I've thought it for a while. I've known that you're not going to... I've said all along that I think that this wedding is going to happen and then end. That they're going to break up at the wedding. But this tired thing of Louis just getting angry about everything that Blair doesn't do. And it's constantly just like, granted, she did bang Chuck, but he doesn't know that. So he's just mad that she's seeing him because somebody got a picture of them being cute together. But like, he's just going to constantly be worried about everything she's doing, as he says, and as he can fucking tell at the end of this episode. So like, Louis, you can't handle Blair Waldorf.
Yeah. Diana catches Nate going through the illicit photographs with Charlie at the Spectator. While Nate is getting dressed down in the hallway, Charlie reacquires her phone and leaves.
Yeah. Diana came across as jealous to me, that it wasn't just like, why are you bringing her in here? But she was more like, why is this younger, hot woman in here doing stuff? Like,
I agree, but then it seemed like at the end she was pushing them together.
Yeah. I completely agree. So like, I don't know how much of this is just Elizabeth Hurley is not good at acting and how much of it is just a really bad storyline. But this is the piece that I'm just over. I'm totally cool with Nate and Charlie getting together. I think that would be kind of good for Nate to not be with someone who's trying to manipulate him in the same way that everyone manipulates him. At least she would be manipulating him in a very different way. Jesus Christ. Nate, get out of the Upper East Side. Nate, go back to LA and thrive.
Yes. Just say yes.
Just be pretty. Go to California, be pretty, and just say yes to everything, and eventually...
Be an actor.
Yeah, be an actor. Land a superhero show. Or like a...
Stay away from aquatic animals.
Yeah. I don't want to go too deep on this.
At the Empire, Dan and Chuck continue to bond as Dan pets Monkey for comfort. He is quite worked up and worrying about everyone's reaction to their character in the book. Chuck tells him to stop whinging. Dan wonders why Chuck isn't upset. Their conversation is interrupted by Dan getting a string of RSVP calls.
Yeah, I actually really liked this scene too.
Yeah.
I will say, I felt that I liked Chuck's reaction to this novel more than anyone else's. And I'll get to it later.
He took it for what it was.
But he took it for what it was. And anything, I'll go ahead and say it now. Anything he took personal from it, he took as a reflection of his own behavior and not Dan's fault for writing about it.
Yeah.
He took it as, wow, this is how I'm perceived, and I'm not seeing that as being too incorrect. So he's the only one, because the only reason that Serena's mad is because she's called out on her behaviors that she cannot rectify with herself.
Same with Rufus.
And same with Rufus. Well, I mean, we'll get to Rufus. But I just really admired Chuck in this episode for the first time. Like, I really like how he treated Dan, how he portrayed the whole event, how he viewed everything. I loved that. And this scene really set that up. Well, why aren't you upset? I killed your character. He's like, I'm not dead. And he's like, and obviously it's fiction. You used a belt. I would have used a scarf. Also, the thing that I caught in this scene the second time through was that Dan said, you died. It was accidental. And throughout the whole thing, I missed the accidental part the first time I watched it, and they always talk about him hanging. And then I recognized that second time through, it was autoerotic asphyxiation that killed Charlie Trout.
Indeed.
And I was like, God damn, like, yeah.
Makes sense.
Chuck trying to get that thrill and going too far. Man, he just did it a little too in excess. Too soon? Too soon.
This is what Gossip Girl has to say about it. Seems like things are looking up for Lonely Boy. Let's hope they've actually read the book and not judged it by its cover. We move into Act 3. Blair has woken up from her nap and comes down to a very cold Louis. He says a storm canceled his family's travel plans. When Blair asks what he wants to do for dinner instead, he says he has to work to do and she should go support her friend Dan. He's sure Dan would love to see her.
First of all, Louis, what work do you have to do, Prince? Like, what work are you doing?
Well, presumably he is head of state.
Oh, is he? I thought he had to get married first before they, because he hasn't been.
He's on his way to it. Yeah, he's got diplomatic matters.
Yeah,
I can assume.
Okay.
I mean, he is making an excuse here.
Yeah. I guess that's really what it is. Is that like?
But I mean, I'm sure he does stuff with his day.
Yeah,
he doesn't just sit around reading books all day.
Yeah, who would do that? But also, Louis, fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And yeah, because then Blair, did Blair already talk to Dorota?
Nah.
Okay.
Yes. After Louis leaves, Blair tells Dorota that she knows he lied about the storm. Dorota says that he read Lonely Boy's book while Blair was asleep and he didn't look happy. Blair picks up the still open book, reads a few lines, and says she's going to kill Dan Humphrey.
Blair's outrage here is the proof that no one should be mad about anything because it's fiction. So it's fiction, Blair. You know it didn't happen. Dan knows it didn't happen. So why are you throwing such a fucking fit?
It's a little weird.
I get it, but also I guess it's more like, Louis, honestly, like, it's a fantasy, right? If anything, Dan is confessing that he wanted to bang Blair.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of weird.
Sure, that is weird. Clearly, Dan wanted that, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Louis has no reason to be mad. Blair has a little bit of, she
Right. I get Blair
some right to be upset. Yeah.
She does have some right to be upset because there will be people out there reading this with the assumption that they did sleep together. Louis just being an asshole. I also think that Blair would not be this mad if Louis wasn't mad.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if Louis hadn't just stormed out and if Louis was like, hey, this says this, her reaction would be like, oh, I'm going to kill him. But wouldn't be angry, like legit angry, you know?
Yeah. Dan is getting fitted for a suit. Alessandra says the RSVPs are rolling in and that she can't wait to get a press photo of Dan with all his friends and family. Dan is surprised to learn that Blair also RSVP'd and without a +1. He also received a demanding text from her telling him to come to her apartment now.
I thought that he was going to go right away to Blair. That's
the typical Dan thing.
Mark of the day. Dan Humphrey did not drop everything and run to the woman who said, come here right now.
Yeah. At the production office, Sam continues to tease Serena about her portrayal in the book. He has also been gossiping about it around town. Jane comes in just in time for the phone to ring. Serena puts DDL's manager on speaker, but he was only calling to cancel the meeting. Then, after a brief hold, he says they are passing on the project altogether. He hangs up the call, calling Serena Sabrina.
This is so dumb.
Yeah.
This is so dumb. I'm going to turn down this movie because the person who set up the interview is in a book that just came out.
He's notoriously anti-Cini.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that's kind of true for him, but also...
How did he find out this fast?
Yeah. How? That book is at least 250, 300 pages by the thickness of it. How are any of these people reading this book in an afternoon? I've read the abridged version of Les Miserables, which is about 400 pages, in about 2.5 days. And I did nothing but read that book from the time I woke up until the time I went to bed throughout those days. And I'm not a fast reader. I admit that there are people that could probably read through faster than that. But how are all these people reading this by 7 p.m.? when they're getting this book at like...
And everyone connecting the character to some assistant in some production company.
Yes, yeah. The Daniel Day-Lewis, who is currently in Australia.
Ireland,
got notice that this intern is a character in a book. Yeah, I hated that. I will say I like that there was a consequence for Serena being in this book that affected her everyday life that would then make her want to read it. Like, I think that it's one of those things where the writers couldn't figure out the right vehicle to make this happen. And so it ended up being this weird Daniel Day-Lewis read this or got wind of this book and it was enough to cancel it. I think there were other ways they could have done it, but I will say that I liked that there was backlash on Serena.
They should have just had this backlash be like next episode.
Right. Or they should have had it be someone in New York tied to the scene. Mm-hmm. I believe that really what they were trying to show, I think they were doing two things. They were trying to get Serena to have that catalyst, to see that this is going to be negatively affecting her. And I think that they also wanted to show that this book has gotten so popular so fast that a recluse in Ireland caught wind of it. So I do understand the method that they were going for and why they were going there. I just think that it was a bad vehicle for it.
At the Empire, Chuck makes a gay joke to Nate, who is still happy-go-lucky about the book. Chuck says he is surprised Nate isn't upset about his character and being conflated, but Nate just looks confused. Chuck explains that Nate and Eric got combined into a single character that is mostly Eric.
Yeah, of course I was conflated. You said that I conflated with those guys in the book, right? Oh, I conflated with Eric? All right, I could see that. No, Nate. That's not what conflated means. Let's take a step back. Nate. Well, hold on, Nate. Let me go get the whiteboard. I now imagine that Chuck has a whiteboard that he can pull out anytime he needs to explain something to Nate. Oh, we're in literature today.
We get another camera-filtered scene from the book in an obvious attempt to fool the audience into believing that Dan is responding to Blair's text. In the scene, Dan and Blair argue about people finding out about them before Blair dives in tongue first for a very steamy makeout session. We see that it is Blair who is reading the scene, and she doesn't look unhappy about it.
No, she doesn't. When she's reading it. And again, we this comes in with the blue filter again that tells us, this is either someone reading the book, which I picked up on pretty much right away, like, oh, this is the scene in the book. But Blair was there for what really happened. That setup led to a kiss that ended up being a one done, and Blair wasn't into it, and they went their separate ways. But you're right. Blair does not look unhappy when she's reading it.
Yeah. And I guess you recognize the song?
Remind me?
Don't Wait by the Duke Spirit.
Oh, yeah. I didn't put anything really together with it though.
It was the same song from their Kiss from 417.
Oh, right. Yeah. I didn't even put that together.
This is what Gossip Girl had to say about it, though. Can we dare to believe Queen Bee and Lonely Boy doing the deed? Even I have to admit, it's a novel idea.
I missed that dare to believe entirely.
Dan arrives way too early for the party, so Alessandra hides him in the study and has him sign books while he waits.
It's so funny because it's such a Dan thing to be like the first person at this event.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dan, it's a reveal. Like, this is a reverse surprise party, brah. You need to be the last one here.
Yeah. We get another scene from the book and see Serena bumping into a tall, dark, and handsome stranger. The two immediately hit it off, and she blows off a family thing to grab a dirty martini with him. Heavy emphasis on the dirty. Serena is reading about her character and is pissed off.
I fucking loved this. I loved that she's reading it and bumps into this guy and is instantly like, oh yeah, we'll go get drinks. It's happened at least once a season, I'd say, that something like this has happened in one way, shape, or form.
The whole book is a meta commentary on the show.
Yeah. Yes, it really is.
Yeah, Rufus is a house, trophy husband.
Yeah.
Nate is so boring that he doesn't even warrant a whole character.
Yeah, it doesn't get his own character. Yeah. Chuck is a tragic loss.
Yeah. At the party, Alessandra introduces herself to Rufus and Lily and then introduces them to Sloane Crosley, our big cameo of the week. Alessandra shakes Chuck's hand and says she has been dying to meet Charlie Trout. He invites her for a drink, and Lily, not wanting to salt Chuck's game, pulls Chuck away to go say hello to someone else. Alessandra points out to Chuck how tragic his character ended.
Yeah, I love that Lily was like, "Oh, I'm not blocking this. I'm not blocking any cock here. I see what he's up to. You're on your own, Alessandra." But also, just Alessandra with her like, "Oh, I want to fix you," in her eyes when she's talking to him, like, "Wow, you're so tragic and so." But like, also, I read "I want on."
Yeah.
Heavy from her.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I want to experience the Charlie Trout train,
Yeah.
and so I really did like that. But also, once again, she's a terrible agent. Don't you?
And then, so back to the meta aspect of the book. This book is very heavily acclaimed.
Yes.
The show, not so much at this point.
Yeah.
Is this the writer saying they know that they should have killed Chuck off?
Oh yeah. I
couldn't because of the nature of TV.
It's funny. So early on, the first watch through when Dan talks about how Chuck died, I did have the thought before they talked about the strangling. I was like, oh, was he shot? And then they go into like how he hung himself.
Mm.
And yes, I did have that thought kind of scratch at the back of my head of, is this buyer's remorse for keeping Chuck around this long and not being able to really do anything good with him since not killing him off? Which also, ironically, I think that we're finally seeing some good Chuck stuff happening. Like what I've seen from Chuck in the past 2 episodes, I've had fun with. It was the whole beating him up in the alley stuff was dumb, but I'm here for it anyway. So honestly, I'm kind of here for season 5 Chuck so far. He hasn't assaulted anyone that we know of yet.
I like his stuff with Dan.
Yeah,
Just keep him away from Blair.
Yeah, I like him being friends with Dan.
Diana calls the cell phone and Charlie answers and accidentally confirms that she is Ivy Dickens.
You fucking idiot. Is this Ivy? Yeah. You fucking idiot. All you have to do is answer that phone. Is this Ivy? No.
Wrong number.
Wrong number. Sorry. I got my phone back. Yes, it is. I just got my phone back from a girl named Charlie Rhodes. Thank you for looking out for it. Click. Who is definitely not me. There are 100 ways out of that. Oh, a number I don't recognize that clearly isn't Max. Block.
Well, she deleted all her numbers, so she doesn't know what any of them are.
Oh, goddamn. But still,
yeah.
But still, Max's number is not, it's going to be from an area code that you would recognize. It would probably be a Florida area code still.
At the party, Serena asks Chuck if she has seen Dan. Chuck turns Serena's line about everyone loving a villain back on her, but she turns it right back with a quip about him always ending up alone. Blair shows up, also upset. She and Serena both admit they only read the parts about themselves. An amused Chuck watches them go back and forth before revealing Dan is in the study.
I loved so much about this scene. I loved that when Serena turned it back on Chuck always being alone, and Chuck kind of calling Serena out on the things that, with that little exchange, how once again, Chuck is taking this for what it is, a work of fiction inspired by the behaviors he has demonstrated to Dan, which of course, Chuck of all people would be the one that Dan has the worst shit to say about. He assaulted his sister twice. Mm-hmm. So he's got plenty to go on. So for Chuck to just internalize it, it really was meaningful. And then when Serena and Blair start talking to each other, no, I only read my parts. Of fucking course you only read your parts, Serena. And Blair too. Blair too. Blair I had a little less of an ire toward because Blair was upset about the thing that happened, whereas Serena just wanted to see what Dan said about me. And so, I really thought that this scene showed so much.
Dan calls Nate to ask him about how the party is, but Nate is back at the Empire pouting. He thought he was one of Dan's best friends and is upset he didn't get his own character in the book. Dan starts to explain that all writers conflate characters, but is interrupted by Serena and Blair, who barge into the study. Dan says he has to go so he can talk to them, which only pisses Nate off more.
Nate, of all of the people in here, Nate, you didn't read the book. So you don't get to be mad until after you read the book. Chuck, you've been best friends with Chuck for how long? You know that man is going to say things to dig at you just for his own amusement. Yes, your character is conflated with Eric's character, but you're in there. Be more interesting.
Yeah.
Be more interesting.
And honestly, considering how everyone else was treated, he should be happy that he was almost left out.
Yeah, you weren't. There was no shit talked on you.
Yeah, you were just the little sister's best friend.
Yeah, you had a good part in it. Yeah. And you got conflated.
Read the book.
Yeah, you got conflated with arguably the moral center of the show for 4 fucking seasons. Yeah. If I was to be conflated with anyone on that show, I would hope it would be Eric. Yeah. If I was any one of them.
Eric or Cyrus.
Eric or Cyrus, yes.
Serena says she could lose her job, but is shocked when Blair says she could lose her fiancé. Blair says he wrote that they had sex, to which Serena's response is, "You had sex?" Dan and Blair assure her that it didn't really happen, but Louis barges in and says it's true. Just at the height of the tension, Alessandra pulls a happy Lily and Rufus into the study for a group photo with everyone.
Louis, you dumb fuck. Here you have both people sitting here no, it's fiction. It didn't happen. Oh, no, but I do not believe you. And it's Louis, shut the fuck up. You're mad about a goddamn book. Oh, my God. I can't wait for the breakup.
So 2 things about Rufus in this scene. Well, the one where he says inside for the photo. He's like, inside. But did you catch that he was not nearly as happy as Lily?
Yeah.
I mean, on the first watch?
Yes. Yeah. I caught that Lily was beaming and Rufus was being a little awkward, which I just thought was Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just thought it was Matt Settle. I wonder if he was just thinking about art fraud while he was supposed to be doing this shooting the episode. We never did address that, did we?
I thought we talked about it.
Oh, maybe.
Looks like the best piece of fiction is that people are actually happy for Dan Humphrey. Gossip Girl quips as we go into Act 5. Blair and Dan continue to insist to Serena and Louis that they didn't have sex. Lily once again reads the room and pulls Rufus back to the party. Sad-faced Louis also leaves. Dan tries to apologize to Blair, but she blows up at him and says there was never anything between them but friendship, and that too is now over. Dan is left alone with Serena.
Lily was I loved Lily in this episode.
Once again, just perfectly reading the room.
No matter what Dan wrote in that book, Lily had to be a character, right? Because Rufus got married to her. You know how Dan has felt about Lily from the start. That it has not always been sunshine and roses, that he definitely has opinions. So you know that his opinions on Lily are in that book. And you know that Lily read the book because she's the first fucking person to read it, and she was 40 pages into it before anyone else even picked it up. So Lily, much like Chuck, is like, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, this is how you observe me? Yeah, I get it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And ultimately, neither of them really care about what Dan thinks about them.
No, not at all. Not at all. And truthfully, I don't think Blair cares about what Dan thinks as much as she cares what Louis and his family would think.
I don't know if I agree with that. When they were at the meeting at the beginning and Serena's talking about everyone loves the village, she does look a little disappointed there.
I think really what I'm thinking is Blair was expecting it to be bad. And when it wasn't, I think that she's placing her anger on Dan for what he wrote, but she's really mad that Louis is mad more than anything. That I think that if it wasn't for Louis's reaction, she might even be a little more touched by what Dan wrote.
Charlie/Ivy meets with Diana at the empty spectator office. Ivy explains how Carol hired her to get access to the trust fund, but now she's trapped. Diana agrees to keep Ivy's secret for an undisclosed favor.
You have potential to be a phenomenal Upper East Side schemer, but you give away the game too easy, Charlie. You just walk right in here and tell her everything because she had your phone number? You could make up so many different stories. Yeah, I have a phone that you just say to Nate, yeah, I have a phone and I put the name Ivy in it so that when people get in touch with me, I can give a fake name. Like, shit, I'm going to encourage my daughter to do that.
Outside the party, Chuck is smoking a joint and stops Louis as he is leaving to tell him he should give Blair a chance and he shouldn't give up his fact for someone else's fiction. Louis hesitates before ultimately leaving.
Great line, Chuck. Great line. Don't give up your fact for someone else's fiction. Because again, Chuck, as much as he's internalizing these things, and as much as he's hurting from what he's gaining from this, he knows that it's a fucking fantasy. It's a book. It's like when dudes get mad at or girls get mad at their boyfriends, or men get mad at their girlfriends because another person is interested in them. How am I supposed to help if somebody's into me? It's up to me to say, no, that's not okay. But like, what are you mad at me for?
Yeah, that was a good line. But the beginning part where he warns Louis that he's going to end up alone like Charlie Trout, I disagree with, because he is the heir and it's very unlikely that he would end up unmarried.
Yeah, there are people other than Blair that would put up with him,
Yes.
Chuck. I realize why you see that there is no one other than Blair that would put up with you, because no one other than Blair and briefly Vanessa would put up with you.
Honestly, Louis should just go find someone else.
Like Louis at this point should be back on Tinder.
Yeah.
I don't think Tinder was out yet, but if it was, Louis should be on it. Okay, Cupid, that was out at this point.
What's the super elite? Have you heard? There's like a super, like you have to be invited. It's like for celebrities and super rich people.
Yeah, I do know. I do know the one you're talking about.
That's where Louis would be.
Yeah. He's not on Plenty of Fish.
Looking to pee on people.
Lover's gonna love, hater's gonna hate.
Dan apologizes to Serena for upsetting her. She makes a list of complaints, but he turns it back on her, pointing out that all those things did happen. Dan points out that Dylan Hunter gets the harshest betrayal in the book, ending up alone. Dan says he has to go find Blair, but Serena's upset he isn't more focused on her. Dan points out that Blair's situation is a little more pressing and that she may be more like Sabrina than she thought. She fires back, "That sounds like exactly like something Dylan Hunter would say."
Again, I loved this scene almost for the shittiness of it. That I understand it. It is exactly what he would do. But if I was friends with Dan, hearing him say, Dylan Hunter has the worst betrayal of all, it's like, fuck you. Fuck you, because you may have portrayed yourself badly, but that's you. And that's how you portrayed you. So don't try to put that up as a shield about the shit that you're saying to talk about me. Now, having said that, I'm also very much, other than that, I'm very Team Dan in this whole episode where he wrote a book. He wrote a book that he didn't want it to even get out. It was just his frustrated musings on his friends, and it got published against his will. So I really feel for him too, and especially when he and Serena are going at it here. And he has to say to her, like, if you don't see the difference between Blair's marriage, of course, here's one of the big things that I'm just now realizing. Dan has information on Blair's marriage that Serena does not. Serena does not know that Blair is pregnant. And so, which is something that Dan could very easily assume Serena does know because of how close they are.
Mm.
So I kind of see that, like, Serena may not know the severity.
Even without the pregnancy.
But even without the pregnancy,
engaged.
it's still her marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still involving more than just Serena. And what do you want me to do right now, Serena, to fix your job?
Yeah.
Like, this is something I can actually fix. You are not. I tried.
You're getting a bad reputation because you are exactly like this character.
Yeah. You're getting
I can't fix that.
you getting shit on for doing the things that you actually honestly did in real life might be.
As Serena leaves, Alessandra peeks in to tell Dan it's time. She announces him to the party as the author of Inside, and we get a recreation of the opening scene of the episode. Dan is applauded by a bunch of people he has never met.
The fact that Lily and Rufus aren't there here, it's like, the fuck are you?
And this is what Gossip Girl says as we go to the final break. Seems Dan Humphrey's on the fast track from Lonely Boy to Only Boy. We move into the epilogue. Blair and Serena finally get a chance to connect in Blair's room the next morning. Blair tells her bestie that she's pregnant and is met with congratulatory joy. Serena says she will be there for Blair no matter her baby daddy situation.
Wonderful bestie scene. I thought that was really well done. They were great together. We haven't had one of those in a little bit, like a real good debrief and the, you're never alone. I'm here for you. I loved it. I loved this.
Now, maybe I'm just being a shipper, but did Blair's smile and reaction to Serena saying she'll be there for her, was that less enthusiastic as her reaction to Dan saying that same thing?
Yeah, it was. Very much.
On cue, Lily walks in and apologizes for his behavior. Serena steps away to give them some privacy, but continues to watch through the bathroom. Blair tells Lily that he needs to trust her or let her go. He says he could never let her go, and they hug.
You're going to have to let her go. You're going to have to let her go.
He doesn't say he trusts her.
No, exactly. He doesn't say he trusts her. And you're going to have to let her go, brah. Like,
that was definitely a red flag.
Yeah, you either let her go or you have to love her despite never trusting her. But you're never going to get the satisfaction you want.
Chuck meets with Lily, who is alone at the penthouse. Chuck says he doesn't want to be the unrepentant bad boy who ends up alone. Lily says there are people who love him, but they give him space because they think he likes that.
I loved this.
This great scene.
This is my favorite relationship on the show. The two sociopaths that just will always be there for each other, you know? I love them. And how Chuck, who is feeling so abandoned and alone right now, because he looks at the picture, right? Isn't this where he sees the picture of everybody but him at this celebration where he was, and Lily just being the mom he needs and just letting him know that he is loved, and also making the very good point. You do put up walls for people that people think you want them to give you space.
Nate shows up for work still pouting about Dan. Diana introduces him to his new coworker, Charlie. Diana suggests that Nate show her around.
Yeah. This, I don't know where they're going with this, but fucking get through it quick. Get this shit done. This is my only real complaint of season 5 so far is this stupid Diana Payne shit.
At the loft, Rufus finds Dan reading the rave reviews for Inside. Rufus tells him that he let Dan have his moment with the book launch, but he is extremely hurt about the way his character was written in the book. Dan says, as a fellow artist, Rufus should understand artistic license.
Yeah, Rufus. And if not, you don't put this shit on your kid. You don't put this shit on your kid the day that they're celebrating the greatest achievement that they've had in their life. And then you come in and smear your fucking pouty shit all over it because you're a has-been washed up husband who's married. I don't believe he married for money. I don't think Dan believes he married for money. He loved Lily all along. So Dan knows this. So Rufus should know that Dan knows this. So of all the people to come in and do bullshit about this, Rufus laying I never regretted raising you until now. Fuck you. Yeah. What a dick thing to say. Like even, and I, you reflect back to Charlie earlier on, like when he's like, oh no, I would never give up raising Dan and, what's her name?
I like at the beginning of the scene, we do get a little bit of a cocky Dan.
Yeah, which he deserves, which is who he should be right now, and not get shit on by your fucking dad. Like, it's bad enough your friends are all shitting on you, but like, you're fucking, God, what an asshole.
But it was a really good scene.
It was, except for him being an asshole.
And it shows that Matthew Settle actually can act when he's giving good direction.
Yeah.
Anyone who has watched Band of Brothers already knew that.
Yeah.
But it is, so we got Tate Donovan directed this episode and also Gaslit from last season. And in both episodes, you have the scene in the loft with Dan interacting with a parent. And Gaslit was Lily, and now you got Rufus.
Yeah.
Both very powerful scenes.
Yeah.
At the production office, Jane tells Serena that in order to keep her job, she needs to get the movie rights for Inside.
I love that. I loved that. That Serena has to fucking swallow every word that she said. She has to tuck her tail between her legs. And if she wants to save this job that Dan put in jeopardy, she's got to go make nice with Dan.
Yep.
I love it.
I do like her line. I want this book. Well, here it is.
Yeah. And whatever you did to Dan, go undo it.
Yeah. Go eat some shit, Serena.
Yeah, go eat some shit and fix this.
Learn how it is for everyone else.
Yeah. Serena, who absolutely would not want this made into a movie.
Yeah.
It's levels of wonderful.
Charlie is listening to Nate explain something, but catches Diana creepily watching them from her office.
Yeah.
It's in this scene that I realize Diana Payne is actually Michael Scott from The Office if the character was played by Elizabeth Hurley. I mean, imagine an alternate universe where the character's exactly the same, how differently it would be perceived if it was played by Elizabeth Hurley.
Right. Yeah. Like she would get away with everything that, yeah.
A blissful-looking Blair is the big spoon to a cold-faced Louie's little spoon.
Yeah. And like Louie gets into bed with her like, I'll never leave you. I'm here for you forever. And then gets in bed and is like, this fucking asshole. Oh man, when I get back to Monaco.
Lock her in a tower. Chuck is drinking alone in the Empire Suite. Again. And looking a bit twitchy.
Yeah.
Dan gets a call from Alessandra, who says he is now number 4 on Amazon, and his reading at Barnes & Noble today is filling up fast. Dan says he won't be needing any tickets for friends or family.
Lily would go. Chuck might go.
Yeah.
Should at least ask them. This kind of led to my predictions, so I'll kind of coast on this.
So this is how Gossip Girl ends the episode. In literature, there are thousands of endings. Some happy, some sad. Some end with a twist. Some stories open the door for something more. And then there are fairy tale endings where the girl gets her prince, and endings that turn you introspective about your own life and your place in the world. And then there's the endings that you saw coming a mile away, but somehow still takes you by surprise. But don't worry, my Upper East Side friends. This story isn't ending. We're just at the start of a brand new chapter. XOXO Gossip Girl. That is our episode. What is coming next?
First, I want to say that I felt like Gossip Girl's final thoughts in this episode were also hinting at the insecure nature of a show at this time where they are, because they are losing fans and it is changing. And it almost feels like okay, yeah, things might end, but like, this isn't it. No, keep watching. It almost, again, took that meta sort of tone of whether or not the show is going to continue.
Any other predictions?
Oh, yes. One of my big ones, and it largely is because of Serena and because of Dan having this thing at Barnes & Noble. And I don't know if we're going to pick up right where we left off. Sometimes we do. We've only done that a couple of times. But everybody having to reconcile with themselves that it's not Dan's fault that he wrote this book and that this is how they're portrayed. I feel like everybody kind of has to have their reflective moment the way that Chuck did from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because like otherwise Dan can't be ostracized for the rest of the show, right? They, without like kicking him off.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get rid of Dan. So yeah, I feel like we have very quickly coming, everybody is going to have to reconcile their role in Dan's life. And I feel like it would be a perfect thing for them to continue on to the next day. And everybody has to show up at his thing and is actually giving him the support that they didn't give him at first. So that's, maybe it's a hope, but that's my one prediction. Charlie, Nate, bang. I wonder who, I feel like Alessandra is going to bang someone. I thought it was going to be Dan. Now I'm wondering, are she and Chuck going to do something? Does she need that bad boy in her life? Maybe. I predict that I'm going to hate the Diana Payne line even more next week. Don't know what's happening, but it has only been steadily downhill since the first. Her first episode was great. That first thing where she walks him around the house and sleeps with him in the house and is like, no, it's my house. Get the fuck out. Loved her. Garbage ever since.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think that those are my... Oh, and Rufus is going to eat shit at some point. Rufus is going to eat shit on this, and I hope it's Lily that feeds it to him. That is like, that's your fucking kid. Because then you have like the worst mother in the universe telling you how bad of a dad you are. That's what Rufus deserves right now.
Yep. Well, let's get into segments.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman. Hello. Good boy.
This week in fandom, we jumped in the Wayback Machine to travel to the Television Without Pity forums from 2011. Their overall impression, this was the best episode of the season, was mentioned multiple times.
Yeah, I thought this was a good episode all in all.
They really liked the Dan and Rufus scene.
Really? I mean, like, I get that it was well acted, it was well directed. I just fucking hated Rufus so much.
Dare fans saw this episode as a big positive building towards them getting together romantically.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that too.
It seems like a lot of people are buying into the Chuck growth storyline.
Yeah. I remember last season being like, I'm so done with these glow-ups and I don't want these fucking glow-ups just to be another waste of time. And man, I feel like it's gonna be a waste of time, but it's probably his best glow-up so far, where he really is just, because he's just taking accountability on himself. Mm-hmm. Right. That's the thing that he always lacked, is that it was always just everyone forgave him. And, well, he did take some accountability for some stuff. But here he's just really introspective and trying to actually be better, I feel. He used to want to look like a better person. Now I feel like he wants to be a better person.
Fair enough.
But he'll probably fuck it all up eventually.
There is a lot of love for the book storyline.
Yeah, I thought I was going to hate it, and I don't.
Except for one person who complained that it was too much like Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill.
Oh, was that you?
No.
Just making sure. Because I know you were watching all of them at this time. Yeah, I like it. I thought the book was going to get killed. I did not think it was going to go this way. I'm glad it did, because I like that Dan is a critically acclaimed author now. It's good. It's good. I like it.
Can't wait to see what disgraced movie producers get interested in the project.
Oh, God. Harvey Weinstein is looking into this. We would like to meet with you and Serena and Blair, but you can wait outside.
They liked the chemistry between Charlie and Ivy, and Charlie/Ivy and Nate, and they've dubbed the relationship Navy.
Okay. Yeah. Better than gnarly.
All in the Navy.
All in the Navy. In the Navy.
And shifting towards close to being 50-50 on fans thinking Chuck or Louie is the father. Are you still firmly convinced that it's Chuck?
No, I'm not convinced it's anybody. I actually thought that it seemed more like Louie today.
Yeah, there's no real indication that Blair's lying.
Yeah.
Usually there is. Because Blair is even though Leighton's a great actress, Blair is
a horrible liar. Yeah. The only thing that made me at all question is because she kept the paternity test.
Yeah.
The highly invasive and dangerous paternity test that she took. Because God forbid that kid came out with an ascot. And Louis be like, wait a second. Something is not right.
Mon Dieu. Speaking of which, fans think Louis is all over the place.
Yeah, fuck Louis. Louis the fucking worst.
And finally, there was the usual love for the Chuck and Lily scene.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful.
That is it for this week in fandom. Over to episode grades. I'm going to go first this time. I really like the direction. We got, with we see the book scenes and how it's transitioning into the people reading them. I like how they did that. And Tate Dobbin was able to pull the best out of actors like Matt Settle, who don't always give the best performance.
He pulled the best from the worst.
And of course, it was another funny episode. A lot of humor involved. Chuck was really funny with the one-liners again, and everyone except for Nate came together. So I gave this episode an A.
Yep. I'm following suit for pretty much all the same reasons. I almost gave it an A- because Nate wasn't there at the end, but also Nate did that on his own.
Yeah.
So I really like this episode, and so I'm with you there. That this is A quality.
Moving over to Stockwatch. Not a ton of movement this week. I had up just Dan, because even though he lost all his friends, like you said, we know that can't last.
Yeah.
So he got the big book launch. He's the huge success.
Yeah,
so he's
huge
got to go
success
up.
right now.
I had Chuck going up because he was just worried about himself and not like taking it out on anyone and realizing his own shit is his fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is Lily.
Yep. That's you and I have the same ups this week. Dan, Lily, and Chuck. I sat here the whole week, just the whole watch, just being like, wow, stock, like no one is going up this week.
Moving down. I had Blair's neutral.
Okay.
Because she didn't really do anything wrong. But I had Serena going down because...
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Because, yeah.
No explanations necessary. Nate going down for being a pouty little baby.
Yeah.
Same thing for Rufus.
Rufus, yep.
I had Louie going down for just being an asshole idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I had Jane going down for being a bitchy boss.
No, oh, that's fair.
And Sam going down for just being a jackass.
Sam's the coworker.
Yeah.
I actually did not have those two going down, which I see your point, but I had them I thought about actually giving Sam an up for getting, in fact, I'm going to cancel yours out and give him an up because he just rides Serena's dick the whole episode in such a way that like, is just like, he does not have the upper hand, but he's just sitting there playing the I'm not touching you game like an annoying sibling. So I'm giving Serena and Nate the down. I'm giving Alessandra the down for being a terrible assistant. I am giving Louis, Rufus, because she was mentioned, Vanessa. Vanessa last season finished at -22. There's only 24 episodes. And she's not in all of them. She's only in like half of them.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
Best outfits. For me, it was Blair's blue dress from Louis Vuitton. She also had the white Prada bag and Alexander Berman shoes.
I'm really glad you picked that because that was one of my favorites. And I was really torn between that and Charlie's dress with the necklace that she had, that I just thought that her whole outfit was really well put together. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Charlie. But Blair, I was really on the fence between the two of them. So Blair getting the credit, I can then go to Ivy. It was like that. It was like black and white and almost had sort of bib-like feature on the front of it.
I really picture it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, that is it for segments. Do you have anything you would like to plug this week?
Thank you, anyone who came out to my to my gig last week at the Morgantown Canafest. If you want to get in touch with me, you can follow my TikTok or my Instagram, steve.marchion, Marchion. That's the best way to find out what I'm up to and get in touch.
I am going to plug the Scrubs revival.
Yes.
As of this point, I've seen the first 2 episodes. Really good. Yeah, you laugh, you cry. It's a classic Scrubs episode. Classic Scrubs.
Yeah.
My 2 complaints are, 1, I don't like the fuzzy backgrounds. The technique that a lot of shows are using now because it's cheaper and easier to light things that way.
Oh, yeah.
And then 1 that I won't spoil because it's plot related. But yeah, there's 1 plot point that I do not like.
If I don't know if it's the same thing that I'm thinking, but what I will say is, well, maybe I'll just talk to you after off of here.
But if you would like to follow me on social media, you can always follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram. And you can find me at Hot Capicola. That's HOTCAPICOLA. You can follow the podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. And you can find links to our Discord server, to our Patreon, and our subreddit on our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
And if you would like to get in touch with us, we would love to hear what you have to say. Please send us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com, and we would love to hear your thoughts on the show and maybe even read them here on our podcast. Also, if you are listening to this right now, please go ahead and hit that like, that subscribe, or follow button. And also leave us a comment. It really helps our visibility in Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And finally, while you're at it, go ahead and let your friends know what you're listening to. Tell the folks at work to tune into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod and make us your water cooler talk.
And we will be back next week to talk about Season 5, Episode 5, The Fasting and the Furious.
Wow, that's a play off of The Fast and the Furious, the famous high-speed car chase movie.
But we get a holiday episode. In the midst of celebrating Yom Kippur with family and friends, Blair and Louie find themselves in a power struggle with Louie's family. Serena's boss puts Serena in an awkward position between choosing her new job and her relationship with Dan. Diana prepares to debut the New York Spectator.
Yom Kippur is an interesting holiday to feature, just considering that it's such a somber holiday, right? It's not Rosh Hashanah, the New Year.
But it's been used in a lot of shows to create drama because people are fasting and
right. Well, and
you can't do things,
and you're introspective, and you're
supposed to be staying in one place, but you know something comes up, you got to deal with it.
Yeah,
you got to.
Well, and also just the amount of internalizing and self-reflection you're supposed to be doing creates tension as well. Mm-hmm. So,
well, until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me